another one. What's going on, guys? We have a 2005 Chevy Cavalier. All right, so the main concern about this vehicle is you guys can see the fuel gauge. It's all the way at the bottom, and also the temperature. So the customer brought the vehicle to the garage, and so we're checking it out right now, the fuel gauge and the temperature. The odometer, it's working, so we have speed and we also have the RPM. When we start the ignition, you can kind of see it, the gauge kind of moving a little bit, the fuel. Okay, you kind of see that the temperature kind of want to move as well. All right, so if we start it, okay, so as you can see, the RPM works just fine. All right, so we have pretty much part of the dash already taken out. We're gonna remove the gauge, we're gonna inspect it, okay, but we also took the side cover from here. You can see there's two fuses. Okay, so it's right here. Let me show you. So it's fuse number 10 right here. You can see it says a cluster. Okay, and then also this one right here, another 10 amps VCM, and then it's also the cluster right here. So you remove these two fuses to kind of do a reset, and you can actually hear it click. So we're gonna remove the gauge right now, and we're gonna inspect it to see what we can find. All right, so right here, Marco's taking it apart. So it pretty much has this tabs on the side, and you can actually remove. Here, let me show you guys. See, it has all these tabs all around. Okay. So once you kind of just push in the tabs, and they'll release from this lock right here. Okay. And then also, this little stick just goes in here. This is your select button, so it kind of just goes through here. Okay, and then same thing on the bottom. You release this this little hook from this clip. Just like so. So you just kind of pry on it. Okay, same thing on this side. Okay, so now we end up with this circuit board right here. Okay, so what we were figuring out earlier, we noticed you can actually move this back and forth. So as we were playing with it, we noticed it was maxed out over here at the bottom. So since the gauge is reading, it's all the way at the bottom, so we noticed the gauge kind of just went all the way around. So we found the lock was right here, so we ended up resetting it all the way to the back. Okay, but we're gonna move the fuel gauge first. We're gonna move it to its bottom position. So once you start the vehicle, it should move the gauge all the way up, and then bring it back down to the correct position where it should be, like the fuel gauge. So if the tank, the gauge, it should go all the way to full, and then return back to its position where it's supposed to be. Okay, so right now we're gonna reset it all the way at the bottom. Once we leave it, we're gonna reset it, make sure everything is at its lowest position, and then start the vehicle. Okay, so we're gonna leave this gauges all the way at the bottom. All right, and we're gonna show you guys what this gauge, what it does right now once we start it. All right, so Marcos is gonna put back the gauge right now. Okay. So in the back of the gauge is only one connector. This one controls the lighting for the gauge. All right, so I removed the fuses on this side just to kind of do a reset. Okay, so I don't know if you guys were able to hear, but it kind of makes a sound. Okay. All right, check out the gauge. All right, so it looks like they're operating normal. We did notice the RPM drops. It dropped below the zero. For the fuel gauge and the temperature, it looks like they're operating normal. So we've been running the vehicle, so the temperature has gone up. Okay, turn it off. Okay, turn it back on. All right, so fuel gauge and also the temperature went up. All right, do it again. So every time we kind of cycle the ignition key, we notice that the fuel gauge and the temperature gauge continues to rise, so it keeps going up. Okay, keep going. That's when we found out that that's the position we found it at. It kind of maxes out, so it just stays in that position. Do it one more. Alright, so it's pretty much, the more we keep going, the temperature gauge is going to continue to max out. And earlier, the RPM did go up. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the temperature for the fuel gauge temperature. It maxes out right there. And also the fuel. Okay, do one more. Yeah. So that's it. That's the bottom line. Pretty much this vehicle needs a gauge and we need to recheck, but it looks like the motor's inside controlling the temperature, and the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge are not operating normal. All right guys, this is Marcos. Thank you guys for watching another video. Hopefully this video was helpful to you guys if you guys having the same issue on your Chevy Cavalier. All right, so we will be making another video once we find a gauge. That way we can confirm the repair. All right, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content coming up. Thank you guys. Have a good day.